Pickles? Greetings, Cyberdogs and citizens of the interwebs. This is ReNDoG coming at you in another episode of Minecraft Survival from the Hermitcraft server. Imagine a world, my friends, where a humble Minecrafter such as myself can chuck an item into a giant pit that goes all the way down to bedrock, and that item will be collected, automatically sorted, and stored in the most inefficient and difficult to navigate storage system ever created. That, my friends, is what we are looking at right now. Welcome back to the Pirate Fairy Grotto Cave of Awesomeness, and welcome back to our next major project here on the Hermitcraft server. For the last few episodes, we have been working over at the log factory. Today, we're going to take a little bit of a break from that project, and we're going to get cracking with this giant monstrosity that I built on stream a couple of days ago. Spent a few hours digging all the way down to bedrock, and things almost went horribly wrong. Oh! Oh, jeez! Oh, no, 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 no! The good news, of course, is I didn't end up TNTing myself and blowing up all of my items, and I ended up making this giant pit that goes all the way from the top floor of the Fairy Pirate Grotto all the way down to bedrock. And this, my friends, is what is going to become Hermitcraft's most difficult to navigate storage system ever created, but most awesome looking storage system that's ever been created. I mean, that's how the ReNDoG rolls, guys. Efficiency? Pfft, who needs efficiency? Now, let me try explain to you guys exactly how this automatic sorting storage system is going to work, because right now, it just looks like a giant mess. First and foremost, what we have here is kind of like a spiral staircase that goes all the way around this massive pit in the center. And the idea for this storage facility is that False and I will be able to come here, chuck items into this pit, and the items will be collected at the bottom of the pit and then sorted in and amongst all of the different chests that we're going to be having around the spiral staircase. These areas over here represent where we are going to be storing the items. So we're going to have 8 rows of double chests, 3 chests high, and then we're going to have smaller sections also where we're going to have 3 rows of double chests, 3 rows high. And of course, the big sections will be for things like building blocks. The smaller sections might be for things like tools and stuff like that. But as we go down the spiral staircase, we are going to be able to access all of these items that we are going to be chucking into this pit. Now, this idea of chucking the items into the pit and the items being collected and then sorted, this was an idea from one of you guys that watched the live stream and sent me an idea on Twitter. I think it's absolutely freaking genius. Even though it's going to require an insane amount of redstone and technical work, basically what we're going to be doing is filling this pit with water. This is going to be a really deep underground lake. And beneath the water, of course, we're going to have some sort of a collection system that's going to be collecting the items and then sending the items all the way back to the top of the spiral. Now, the reason I've gone with the spiral idea for our storage system is that I want the items to be able to flow all the way down via hopper chains behind the chests, and those items will flow all the way down until they find the chest that they belong in. And well, it's going to be easier for us to do that if we have a sort of system that spirals downwards, right? Because the items will always be able to flow down if we use sort of water aqueducts and stuff to move those items. Of course, what we're going to have to do is have a huge item elevator from the bottom all the way up to the top somewhere here, and that's going to send the items all the way back up into the storage system. Of course, it's very inefficient, guys. Listen, you don't even need to let me know in the comments how inefficient the storage system is going to be, okay? I get it. However, the idea for the storage system is that it's going to look absolutely insane. We're going to turn this massive spiral into an incredible looking, enchanted, spiraling cave of awesomeness. And in the very center will be the main feature of the storage facility. And perhaps we can even have a water vator or a crystal or something in the middle where the items will actually float up the center of the hole. That could be pretty cool. I don't know. There's loads and loads of ideas that I've got for this build. But guys, this is going to be our next major project here on the Hermitcraft server, along with the lumber mill build that we're currently working on. But I'm kind of inspired by this today. If you have any ideas to further improve this storage facility, please, you know what to do. Hit me up in the comments below, man. This is gonna be a sweet project, even though it's gonna be the most ridiculous, inefficient storage facility ever created in Hermitcraft. Welcome to the ReNDoG channel. Now, before we get cracking on the spiraling staircase of doom, everyone, we've got some business to attend to here in the shopping district. Last episode, I had a lot of fun making a really cool intro for you guys where Iskal and I had a little bit of a silent movie thing going on. Thank you everybody for the amazing love in the last episode. It was super fun putting it together. So glad a bunch of you guys enjoyed it. However, I did notice in the comments that a lot of you didn't actually know what was happening and why Iskal was giving me pumpkins and beacons. Well, let me break it down for you in a nutshell. A few weeks ago, Iskal came to my rock shop over here and bought a whole bunch of smooth stone with 24 totally diamonds instead of 24 real diamonds. And Iskal was, well, trying to pay me back, I suppose, with the couple of beacons and the pumpkins. While I'm very grateful for the beacons and the pumpkins, I feel like we need to get Iskal back for this one. And I reckon we do that by coming to his brand new shop over here. He's just opened the first beacon shop on the server, and I'd like to play a little bit of a joke on him today. Of course, I'm going to pay him with real diamonds in a couple of days' time, but for now, I think, as Iskal purchased some stuff from my shop with totally diamonds, I'm going to purchase some stuff from Iskal's shop with totally diamonds. And this is actually insane. Look at how many beacons are for sale here. It's actually a really cool system that he's got going on over here. The first row is the cheapest, the second row gets more expensive, and the third row gets more expensive also. So you know what, I think I'm going to buy one beacon with 20 totally diamonds, right, instead of 20 diamonds each, and I think I'm going to buy another beacon here also, actually. In fact, you know what, I'm going to buy all of those cheap beacons, actually. You know, you can never have too many beacons in this game, and you know what, I would like to give my friend Iskal a little bit of diamonds. I know that he's very poor at the moment, so he gets 20 totally diamonds, and he also gets 40 real diamonds, and of course I will give him the real diamonds a little bit later on in the week. I can't wait for him to spot this. I want to see his reaction on video. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Yeah, nice one, Iskal. Thanks for the beacons, my brother, and the other beacons that you gave me at the HRN Grand Central. Man, I am loaded with beacons now. This is amazing. And speaking of profits also, guys, these are the profits from the log shop this week. I need to go give 19 of these to Impulse over in the mail room. But yeah, business done. Very good. Oh, and before I forget, guys, I've got some great news to share with you from the Hermit Railway Network project. As you can see, some great progress has been made here in the western side of Hermit Island. I spent about 3 hours on stream building what has become the Western Line, or at least a section of the Western Line that also shares a section of the Circle Line here in the west. And this is the line that goes from the Medieval District Station all the way up to the Industrial District Station. And as you can see, I have almost finished installing the line here, or at least building the railway line support bridges. And it's turned out really, really nice. Of course, we're in the Medieval District, which means we need to keep the design medievally, I suppose. And to do that, I've been using some oak planks, some spruce planks, and some cobblestone as the support pillars, and I think it's turned out real good. You know, one of the most important things for me about the HRN project is that when we build these railway lines, they kind of fit in with the area and they don't look too ugly, and I'm hoping that what we've done here is going to be okay for Wells, because of course this is Wells's base here, and I think this design fits the area quite nicely, and I'm quite happy to see another section of the HRN done now. We now have quite a large part of the HRN done in this side of things. Farsi, of course, built this beautiful line over here, which goes up to the Industrial District, and now we have another line that's running from the Industrial District Station to the Medieval District Station. So yeah, good news on the HRN front. Things are starting to look real jazzy. Loving it, baby. The great ghost ship prank of 2018. Still looking absolutely glorious, still looking magnificent over there in the horizon. Memories. Anyway, my dudes, enough tomfoolery for one episode. It is time to get down into some serious storage situation projects of amazingness. That is to say, it is time to start working on the most inefficient yet most awesome looking storage system ever created on Hermitcraft. Now, in order to do this, my friends, we are going to need an absolutely insane amount of resources. Our spiraling staircase storage system is going to be an automatic sorting system, and it's going to be holding an insane amount of items for False Symmetry and I. And to get things started, we're going to need a bunch of leather, because we're going to need a bunch of item frames to show False and I what all of the different chests in our storage system holds. And, well, here I am in False Symmetry's cave, which has an insane amount of cows in it for some reason. But, you know, this is a great opportunity to stock up on some leather and thus some item frames. Cows, you've been living in this cave pretty much for the entire season. It is stanky up in here, man. Whew! Zero ventilation going on. And I am going to need a little bit of your leather. Luckily, I've got a bunch of wheat over here, guys. So what I'm going to do is breed quite a few of Falsey's cows over here, get some babies cooking so that I can sort of kill a few of the cows and take some of the leather without depleting False Symmetry's supply of bovine. And, well, hopefully Falsey won't mind. Of course, you know, the storage system I'm creating is for both of us. So I suppose this is a worthwhile sacrifice for the awesomeness that is going to become the worst storage system ever created. I am starting to feel a little bit bad doing this, guys. There's little baby cows all over the show. Luckily, Fang's got looting 3 on it, so we should be able to get quite a lot of leather quite quickly. I suppose I'm going to have to come back here every now and then to stock up on the leather. For now, I think we'll just collect 64 of these leather things, because there's a lot of traumatized children in this area right now, and I think it's about time that we put the sword away and start working on something less devastating. Despite the horrors of that bovine massacre, guys, managed to pick up a bunch of resources for our spiraling staircase storage system, an insane amount of leather, steak for days, and this beautiful, very fetching cow head, which I have now plonked on top of myself. So all is well in the world, let me tell you. I've spent a little bit of time over here also making some item frames, and I've started to work out exactly how this storage situation here might work as we travel all the way down to the bottom of the pit. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult than I anticipated. I've also dug out a little bit of space behind the chests here in each of these segments, and we're going to be adding a bunch of redstone into this. We're going to have to add a whole bunch of comparators and hoppers and whatnot so that we can automatically sort items here in our storage system. So, for example, if we've got a little bit of granite and we throw it down into the pit, eventually that little bit of granite will end up in this row of chests, and that of course applies to all of the different resources here. So I've tried to apply a little bit of logic up in this business. So on the very first level, at the very first section of the storage facility, I guess is the most used building materials that Falsey and I might need, starting with cobblestone and going all the way through to some grass at the end. And as we travel down the spiral staircase, we get to the polished goods, and then we get some gravel over here. Gravel is very highly used for me in particular, because a lot of it gets turned into concrete, but it's also kind of an important building block, so it gets its own little section over here. And then down here at the next big section, we have got all of the different variations of cobblestone and stone. So stone bricks, mossy stone, cracked stone, chiseled stone, the stairs, the slabs and whatnot. And of course, each of these different segments is going to have a little bit of redstone installed behind it for the auto sorting. So things are looking pretty good here. It's probably going to take me a long time to figure out how we are going to be sorting the items, or that is to say which items are going to go into each of these segments over here. I'll probably do quite a lot of that off camera next time we get together on this project. A lot of that will be done. But there is something that I want to try do now, which could be kind of fun. There is a level down here that kind of connects to a little bit of the water of the Fairy Pirate Grotto Cave of Awesomeness. Falsey's been working a little bit over here. Okay, skeleton, my dude, okay, that skeleton has seen the cow head and has lost its mind. It's even swimming across the river right now. All right, skeleton, you want some of me? We can rumble, my dude, we can rumble. Get tridented, you stupid skeleton. Okay, as I was saying, Falsey has been working pretty hard here on the bottom of the Fairy Pirate Grotto, and this is a little river, or an underground river anyway, that she's installed that runs all the way through to, I believe, Tango's base, which is all the way at the end of this river. And we're going to be adding a whole bunch more detail into this river, some coral and stuff like that. And yeah, this comes all the way out here into Tango's base, which is pretty sweet. And what I want to try and do is continue the idea that this river is kind of like the lifeblood of the Fairy Pirate Grotto base, right? The water from up there is actually coming from the ocean and is filling up this river over here. And I'm thinking maybe we can continue that idea by making the water go from the river into our storage hole over here. We've got a beacon down there at the moment, of course, so that I can dig through all of this material quite fast. But I was thinking maybe what we could do is make a little bit of a bridge over here, right? So we could have like a nice little bridge that crosses over what will become a bit of a waterfall that is going to flow down from the main river into the bottom of our hole down there, right? And for now, it's only 1 block wide waterfall, but of course we could sort of make it a little bit bigger, get a little bit more water flowing here, and for some reason the water doesn't want to flow here, which is very strange. Okay, there we go. Got a little bit more of a flow going there. But yeah, that could be pretty cool, right? I think that could turn out quite nicely. Of course, I'd have to do a bunch of terraforming and stuff to make sure that the waterfall looks kind of cool. Do I have an ender pearl here? Yeah, let's try plop ourselves over to the other side and have a look at that. Yeah, that looks pretty sweet, right? And I suppose this might be an interesting way to get up and down the storage spiral also. You know, one of the problems with this storage spiral idea is that it's very inefficient when it comes to collecting stuff. Say, for example, I need an item from down here, and I also need an item from up there. I either have to rocket myself up the center of the spiral or use an ender pearl to get up there to get my next item, right? And yeah, stuff like this happens. So maybe we could use water vaders and waterfalls and whatnot to make it a little bit easier to sort of travel around the spiral sorting system. You know, guys, one of my favorite things about being a hermit on the Hermitcraft server is that there is no project you can imagine that is too big when it comes to resources. If you start working on an absolutely massive project like a spiraling auto-sorting system of doom, you know there's a hermit out there that's got your back in the resource department. And, well, in order for us to achieve our goal of automatically sorting hundreds of different types of items in Minecraft, we're going to need a bunch of hoppers. And here I am at Ethical Iron, which is a nice little shop here in the Hermitcraft Mall. Pretty cool build down here, very, very nice. And pretty much everything that you need is down here, which is awesome, including a bunch of hoppers. And it looks like we get 8 hoppers for 1 diamond, but there are no hoppers available in the shop right now. So it looks like we're going to have to buy ourselves some raw iron here from Ethical Iron. And I've got a bunch of diamonds over here, actually, so I'm not too worried about it. It looks like we can get 5 diamonds for a stack of blocks. And it looks like we got a whole bunch of blocks available over here. A whole bunch of stock is available. So I'm going to stock up on some iron so that we can make a literal butt ton of hoppers. And then we can start getting a little bit technical up in this jazz. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Did I mention that we're going to need an insane amount of hoppers for our storage system, guys? Well, if I didn't, we're going to need an insane amount of hoppers for our storage system. What you see before you right now is the basic foundations of the redstone that is going to be applied to each one of these segments running all the way down the spiral staircase. Now, before we get any of the actual redstone going here, which involves a whole bunch of comparators and redstone torches and a whole bunch of that jazz, we need to make sure that our very top hopper chain, which is this very top row of hoppers, goes all the way down our spiral staircase correctly behind each of these segments. And I've installed this foundation of the system here to try and figure out exactly how many blocks above our storage chests we need in order to complete this chain. So there are our 3 chests in which we're going to be storing items, and then it looks like we need 1, 2, 3 blocks above that, above each of these segments. Now, we might run into a couple of problems further down the spiral when we get to the water areas here, and on that side of things, we have our auto smelting facility too, which might be a problem. But what I'm going to try and do now is connect up this hopper chain at the top. This is the hopper chain that is going to be carrying all of the items around the storage system that are going to be sorted into the different chests. This hopper chain has to spiral all the way down to the bottom of bedrock down there, and it needs to spiral behind each of the segments in the correct way. And yeah, if we can get that right, then we are well on our way to installing the redstone for our system. But this is probably the most important part of the project, because if this hopper chain doesn't work, well, the whole thing is kaput. Guys, ReNcow has got to be completely honest with you right now, okay? It's actually been pretty easy to install this hopper chain. Much easier than I anticipated, if I'm completely honest with you. And I'm kind of excited to do a little bit of a very first test here of the redstone for our spiraling sorting system. By the way, I realized in the last segment that I'd made these hoppers face in the wrong direction. So all of you redstone peeps, stop typing in the comments. Everything is fine. What I've managed to do here is install this hopper chain for this segment, this one, and this one. And what I'd like to do for the last part of this episode is actually test whether or not this hopper chain is going to work. And as you can see, it's sort of traveling through the walls here and spiraling all the way down. Now, the way that we're going to test this is by disconnecting the chain from each of the different segments here, just so that if we stick an item in the top hopper over here, it'll end up at the very end of the chain. So let's just disconnect these hoppers for now, and next episode we'll start working on the actual redstone for the sorting system part of things. But as I mentioned, it is very important that this top hopper chain works, right? This is the most important part of the entire build, because if that thing doesn't function, none of the items that we're going to be sucking up from the bottom of Minecraft down there is ever going to end up in the correct place. So let's get rid of, which one is it here? I think it's that one over there. Yes. Okay, cool. So we are now ready to test this hopper chain to see if we can send an item from all the way over there to all the way at the end of this final big segment over here. So let's get our butts up here, and what I can do also is show you how the hopper chain actually travels around the spiral. It's pretty sweet. Okay, so let's stick a golden carrot in here, right? That golden carrot's going to be traveling through these hoppers. We're probably following it right now, actually, and as you can see, this hopper chain comes all the way around the back of the different segments here, and it's going to come all the way around here. Unfortunately, we almost ran into a bit of a problem. This is the hopper chains for the auto smelting facility above us, and luckily this segment was deep enough to not interfere with this, which is great news. But yeah, as you can see, it came pretty close. We were one block away from having a completely wrecked system. But if we've installed the hopper chain correctly, that golden carrot should be right over here. And well, we actually might have a bit of a problem here. There is the output chest for the fairy auto smelter. So this is probably going to have to come down here now. This chain is going to have to come down. We might as well do that now. So if we've installed this correctly, that carrot should be in this hopper. Let's have a look, baby. Oh, yes. There's the golden carrot. Nice. The very first part of our hopper chain is working, guys. Of course, I need to get that hopper chain all the way down to there. In fact, I think it's even deeper. It's all the way down to this side, I think. And we'll need to test that and stuff too. So I've got a lot of work to do off camera, guys. But I hope you are very excited about this project, as excited as I am. I think this is going to turn out real cool. It's going to be really fun building the sorting system, even though it's going to be a pain in the butt to use. I think it's going to turn out really nicely, and I hope Falsey likes it too. It's going to be pretty cool. But guys, that's going to do it from me today. Thank you for watching. Hey, listen, if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, well, subscribe for cow face. You know what I'm saying? Guys, we'll smell you all in the next episode. Thanks for watching.